Listen up, beauties. Gather round the mic, we're dishing out true spilling.
I feel like in the long run, knowing those kinds of things is so helpful because I want to make my own schedule, be my own boss.
I've heard horror stories from baby estheticians that graduate school. They get so discouraged, and there's so much talent out there that they're not properly doing things.
I was like, they're making so much more money than me. I want to get in on this.
Do you have 1,000 or pretty close to 1,000 clients? And I said yes. And he goes, okay, you can rent.
You're listening to Not Just Lashes. Here are your hosts, Shanique and Dixie.
Hello.
Welcome back to Not Just Lashes.
I wanted you to take the reins on it.
I was like,
Your
where's
voice
my
is so
twin?
pretty. Well, we have a good episode today.
Really good.
Yeah, this is information we wish we had. I had some of it because of Shanique, but I also learned from it
Doing
together with
research.
Shanique.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, like, oh, we need that, as Shanique got bigger and like more things you needed, like certain forms, licenses and everything. And it just kept going, if you ever take employees or you're renting or so much.
There's so much. I wish I would have learned that from the beginning. And I feel like it's so important to have that lash community or esthetician beauty community to help you and get advice and let you know, like, hey, okay, so now that you've established such a high clientele, you're training girls are working for you, and you want to open up your own salon, whatever, lash bar, what have you, there are so many important things that you need to do before you open up.
Yeah. And it's also going off of deciding, are you, I'm going to throw words out there that somebody this weekend, I was meeting with my financial advisor, and he's like, are you an LLC or a sole corporation? Or when you filed your taxes, and I'm like,
S Corp or whatever,
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, if you're an S Corp, like you don't want to pay those fees until you're making a significant amount of money, or you're doing that, like, and then, oh, are you selling, if you're selling stuff, like, do you have a seller's permit? Do you, like, there's so many little things that you don't even know about until you get asked about it, and you're like, what are you talking about? What is this?
And one of them is definitely get a CPA. And someone who has been working with people in the beauty industry. It does make a difference, because if you hire somebody who, I don't know, works with restaurants or works, I don't know, at a car dealership, I don't know, they're not going to understand all the little tiny details that you're going to need to, file or open up the business.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I learned, and I had no idea what it was, is the EIN number. And that's basically an identification number that you need when you're filing. And a lot of people don't know that,
Yeah.
But it's just something that we did research on. And
I think there was some sort of form. I think it was like the business license form for where we are. We had to have a separate business license within the county or the city, whatever.
The city.
Yeah. So we had to have a special thing. And then on the thing, it said EIN number. And me and Shanique were like, what is that? And we're like Googling it. And they're like, look at your, we're like trying to figure out where it is and
making up names, what it means.
Well, because like there's so many, like, I did not get into lashes because I'm good with numbers. And it's like, I'm a creative soul.
Yes.
I'm so there's a certain point where I can handle it myself, and I'd go to like H&R Block or something like that. And that was totally fine. But as I did start making more money and having more clients and then owning my own business, I wasn't under you anymore. I wasn't a subcontract. Like, I am my own business. At that point, it saved me more money to have a CPA or an accountant that is specialized in it to help me, because they save me money. They're like, they know what an expense is and what you're spending your money on.
Yes.
They're not looking at I don't know, a purchase or like classes and stuff like that. Like you don't know that you can use that, like they might
toilet
see
paper or, napkins, spoolies, just the tiniest little things that you wouldn't even like think of adding to it. It does. It matters. So finding a good CPA is important, and go on the irs.gov.
Oh yeah.
You'll find all that information there, and that's how you apply for a EIN number. So that's
really easy, a great website that I always tell first timers to go to, or I did at first, and I still use it, is LegalZoom. Like one of my clients, she's like, oh, I make sweatshirts and and I really want to start. Did you start off with an LLC? Did you start off with and I was like, I really don't know. But when you went on LegalZoom, it like asks you questions, and it says, and then it describes each kind of corporation so then you're like, oh, that's where I belong. And then you fill it out with it, and then it gives you all those information, those numbers and next steps, which is really helpful.
I think it's great because when you're first starting out, maybe you don't have that ginormous clientele, and starting off on LegalZoom, that's how you learn, right? It's a good way to just kind of, dip your toes in before you hire somebody that could handle a larger amount of, work.
Yeah.
So it's LegalZoom's great.
Yeah. And so I suggest that for anyone, even if you're not starting a business, to just go on it or do your research behind it, because it can just help you in the long run. You know your rights, ways that can save you money. You know what like proper things are that you need, like, you could be spending money on something that you could have had help with, or, I don't know, just, I feel like in the long run, knowing those kinds of things is so helpful. So if you think, oh, I'm a lash artist and I work for somebody else, I come in, and I fill out my W-2, or you still should know. You want to be smart about it, because then the more information you have, the better decisions you can make.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you might say, like, you know what? I'm making so much. I should really be on rent. Like, I should really find my own space, or that's what I want to do. Or for me, it was, I really want to be my own boss. I wanted to, like, I've watched you over the years. I don't want to own a salon. I want to take care of me. And me only. And there's
a lot of people like that. I mean, I've had girls that are like, I never want to rent. I just want to be on commission. And that's okay.
Yeah. So know what you
totally
want.
Fine.
And
it's up to you what you want.
Yeah. So I was like, I need to rent a room because I want to make my own schedule, be my own boss. I don't want to have to be like, hey, I'm out of town this week, or can I take this time off? Like, I don't want that kind of job where I have to ask. And so then I was like, okay, then rent's for me. Looking at my numbers, looking at my finances. Oh, I have enough clients.
Can do it,
Well, first you made me show you on a piece of paper how many clients I had.
Yes.
Because
it's important.
You were like, that was really cool to have, because I feel like other places might have been like, other places will just rent. Yeah, fine.
No, I've heard horror stories from baby estheticians that graduate school.
Yeah,
and they go right into renting, and then not even a year later, that they close shop because they didn't build a clientele, and I hate to hear stories like that.
Yeah,
and that's why I want to bring information.
They get discouraged
like this.
too.
They get so discouraged, and there's so much talent out there that they're not properly doing things. And for me to see that, I want to help.
Yeah.
I want to help, because you should not go from school to renting, and having that paper. Okay. I have 1,000 clients. Okay. Definitely you could pay rent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was a question that was asked to me in Westlake.
1,000.
Yeah. Do you have 1,000 or pretty close to 1,000 clients? And I said, yes. And he goes, okay, you can rent.
Yeah.
That was a good person. It's a good thing to get a number and to know, again, do your own accounting. It is so important. And that's one of the things I do, kind
Yeah,
of
you
show
set
you
up
guys.
us to track our numbers.
Track
Even
the
when
numbers,
we're
track
under
your
you,
clients. Yes.
we write down our
The
client.
amount.
I remember I love like lists and they love like organizing. So I was always writing down the person, the date, what I did on them, like volume fill or whatever, or I had to do a little more or the mini, whatever. And then what I charged them and then how much they tipped me. And then
Commission.
yeah. And I just would follow that. And that's a good way to see, like, am I ready for rent? Is that something I want to do? Do I want to, have this overhead? Like, do I want to be in charge of my own supplies? Like all that, but yeah, just know your business, even if you are an employee and even if you don't see yourself owning your own business or wanting to go down that route, it's just important to know what you're making, because then you can look at it and make different decisions.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I love it. I love making important decisions.
Well, like I would do the numbers for the girls when I was manager. That was like one of the other reasons I went to esthetician school. I was like, I have a college degree and I'm making above minimum wage, which is great. But I was like, they're making so much more money than me. Like they're, getting tips and all this stuff.
Commission.
They can sell
products.
And I was like, what am I want to get in on this. So by doing those numbers, that showed me I wanted to be like that. I wanted that job.
Yeah. And it came in handy, didn't it?
Yep. Look at me now.
Look at Dixie now. Oh, checking account. That's another thing, like a business
account.
Business
Keep it
account.
separate. It's easier
it has to
for
be
organizing.
separate.
It's easier to look at your stuff and track your stuff. Like I use QuickBooks and then I put in my checking account, but I also
you need a personal account and then a business account. So let's, and that way you don't mix the expenses with your personal account. I know it sounds confusing, but it's really important to separate your personal and your checking, which again, something that I just learned along the way.
Yeah. And I've learned, like, this is just like a perk. Like when you have a business account or a credit card that's just like for business, that's going to help you in the long run too.
Yes, it does.
If you're young, it builds your credit and you can purchase all of your classes and your tools and supplies. And then you're building that credit. And then a lot of those business cards have perks. So you're getting money back for, like, let's say your gas or whatnot, So it's like all these little things that you don't know. They don't teach you
No, they don't teach you in school.
In beauty school, college. And
nothing.
We were discussing it the other day. Like, it'd been nice to, have a class on taxes or,
It would be, yeah.
And
I know a lot of lash companies and lash artists that do training offer kind of like, what
business,
we do, business talk. How to get started, what to do, what not to do, what you need. And it's helpful because I have, like I said, back in the day, I had no clue about this. It was just like trial and error.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Mostly error.
But
another thing is insurance.
Oh, yeah. We've talked about it before.
Yes. Insurance is a must.
Yep.
And even like if you are on commission, you need
it's just safer.
It's just safer.
Yeah. I mean, they might, like some businesses I know, like if they have like a certain amount of employees or what, like they'll cover, they're covering themselves for sure.
Yeah.
The owner of the spa is covering themselves, but who knows how far their policy goes. So you want to cover yourself or talk to the owner, like, just be on the same page. Like a lot of the time we require you to have insurance.
Yeah. The thing is, it's like if you're a baby esthetician and you're on commission or, you're an employee, you still need your own personal insurance because if something goes wrong or let's say, I always say state board, I'm not going to be liable as the owner.
Yeah.
Yes, I do have insurance and only goes so far, but that, employee needs to be covered as well. Even if you drop tools in somebody's eyes, that's, I hate to say this, but that's on you personally. That's not my fault.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that,
And
but
then
I'm
that
just
goes
telling
with
you guys
waivers,
like the
too.
reality of it, that things do happen, and learn from us, learn that you can't just do things blindly.
Yeah. And always have yourself covered, like you might think it's fine, or, sometimes I forget to, like, I'll be doing consultation and get so excited, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I never had them fill out a waiver.
Yeah.
So whether it's having a waiver set up that you send to them before they come in so they can fill it out and you're taken care of so you can just go on with it, or letting them know to come in early to fill it out, or, just having a piece of paper to go over everything, to have everybody on the same page.
Yeah. And online booking, you want that when you decide to go on rent. I think it's just a lot easier. It's easier when you're independent. It's easier when you're, working for, a big salon, whatever. And putting those online forms too.
Yeah. Or what is it called? I can't think of it.
Consultation forms.
No, there's like a page
RX
on your
forms.
site.
Yeah. Like
What
a
is it
medical.
Yeah.
A
but
medical
there's
history.
Yes, medical history. That's
Yeah.
good. Treat
So-
yourself like a doctor's office.
Yeah.
Honestly, like
Yeah.
we say it when we're saying, like, when you're trying to pre-book them to keep your clients,
Yes.
treat it like a doctor. Say, I want to see you in like 2 weeks and follow up and see how it's going.
Yes.
If you think you can last another week, then we can stretch out your fill, but let's see, and then also checking in on them after a couple days. Like, hey, how are you liking them? How are they feeling? Is there anything you need changed or fixed? Like, goes a long way, and it helps you overall in the long run.
Yes. So
Covering yourself.
cover yourself online. Online booking will help, kind of put those clients in order for you. Emailing.
And it just shows that you're professional.
So
and
professional.
And people respect that. And
Yeah, because people do. They still want to go on your website and check things out. Sometimes they want more. They want to see what else you do
Yeah.
besides eyelashes.
I mean, how many
which is
times have you
great.
looked at a place? And I mean, nowadays, if you don't have a presence on Google or not necessarily Yelp, but you don't have any online presence, people are, not likely to go because they're like, well, where am I going? Who is this? What is this? It's like a red flag almost for business.
Oh, yeah. I mean, another thing that you need to do is definitely have your portfolio, and that is Instagram, Facebook.
And
because people want to see your work.
Yeah.
That's your portfolio nowadays. People aren't going to just, try to, okay, fingers crossed.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope they're really good. I'm just, hoping for the
even when
best.
people refer me, like a client refers someone to me, they're like, oh my God, you're going to look. They still look at my Instagram. They still want to see, and
starting that helps so much for people to get to know you. And not only you, your work, and how you, what kind of presence you have too. If you're if you're talking on Instagram, doing stories and all, people want to know the face behind the, the new business or what have you.
They're spending an hour with you. You either want, you want to show that it's a friendly place, that they're able to relax, that they're going to have a good
outcome with Lashes too. Yeah, for sure. And be smart in your investing. That's
In
one
which
thing
way?
that I did not do.
Not
I
investing in the markets. What do you mean?
What I mean is be smart in your investing in what you need and what you don't need in your salon. Okay? Because overspending, you're going to have such a rough year to 2 years, 5 years, I don't know, whatever, you need to get organized. And getting organized okay, so I need towels for the salon, eyelash pads, eyelash extensions, financially learn what you need, how much your costs are. Make a list because you may not be ready. You may be ready as far as like clientele goes, but you may not be ready to open up a salon because there's so much that you need, to spend money on. I mean, it even gets down to like the mints. And our clients love our mints.
I couldn't believe it.
Oh, the 2 girls who pocketed all the mints?
But I didn't know how much of a difference. Like, I have a big candy bowl that has I call them toddler patch kids because they're like
big Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah, they're not teeny. They're like an individual wrapped,
they're cute.
Little person.
I have to get my husband out of Dixie's room because when I have him come to the salon for something, I see him walking to Dixie's room.
This is news to me.
I know when it's news to you. And he's comes out with the Sour Patch Kids, and I'm like, what are you doing? Put that back.
It's fine. I have the biggest supply of them because
he loves them.
Yeah, one of my clients actually gave them all to me because she was running a booth, and she always knew I had a candy bowl. I'd put chocolates or whatnot in there, and she's like, "I have all this candy from this booth I had. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." So I just put it in the candy bowl.
It's
and they
such
had
a great
these
thing to have.
Little Sour Patch toddlers, and people are obsessed. And when I ran out, they're like, oh my God. And so I'm on Amazon trying to find them. I'm like, I don't know why, but I cannot find these. And then she came with the biggest box of them. I have a lifetime supply of Sour Patch toddlers.
Yay! I love it. But yeah, so really figuring out your costs. Don't go crazy on things that you don't need because it's just going to set you back. It really is. Learning and then playing catch up. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You just want to.
You don't want to feel like you
are sinking.
Yeah. Because
your ship is going down.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been many times where I was crying because I was like, oh my God, this person left or that person. And that's another thing. Be prepared to have employees leave because they do. Even Dixie.
They didn't leave.
Not technically, but
I'm still there.
But be prepared because it does happen and it does get getting used to that people leave and you have a great connection with them. Just like Mandy, she was such a great person to have at the spa. She really added something different because she was more medical. I love that.
Her her education of skincare was on a whole nother level. And
she was
the best facial I've ever had. And she was amazing. Yeah. Even clients would be like, oh, do you do facial? I was like, yeah, I do. And I'd be like, but honestly, if you want the facial to get, you have to go to Mandy. You have
to try it at least once.
But, she grew and we're happy that she grew. She's I don't know how this girl does it. She was driving everywhere, Newport, Huntington Beach,
collecting
taking
clients.
Machines, and then now she's in Malibu, and she just got too big, and most of her clients were in Malibu, and she just wanted to be closer because she's just I can't drive and all that. But so you're happy for them, but you have to be prepared. You're okay, now I'm losing a renter. So how am I gonna make up for that? Do I have a safety net to hold me over, or do I need to get someone in here now, which might not happen right away?
No, and it's always a good thing to have LinkedIn, Indeed. What other ones did we?
We're on a lot of Facebook, Lash groups.
Yes, just in case if owning a salon and you have employees or you have a room that needs to be rented out. Dixie and I went straight. As fast as I learned that someone was leaving, I was on the computer. I'm on LinkedIn, trying to find somebody ahead of time, got ahead of the game. And it's something that you just, that I learned the hard way, not just sitting there waiting for somebody to come, and it'll fall into place.
It will.
It will. It always does.
Yeah. Everything's scary when it's new.
Always.
Or anxious or like change.
Yeah. And I'm such a like control freak. I love things in order, just like you know, it's hard to let go. It really is. And to trust the process, but you have to trust the process.
Like I always remind Shanique, I'm like, you've been there before. Like we've had people leave before. We've had people, you know, rent. We've had people, I mean, you survived the recession. You survived COVID. You've survived. Like I was like, we've been probably in worse situations.
And I'm like, oh my God, it's happening again.
And I'm like, no.
Yeah, something. She's like, what? You grew in the recession. Like, what's wrong with you?
And I used to start slapping you and be like, put yourself together.
I'm like, okay. Another thing that I kind of been watching and learning with the new lash techs especially is if you have a specialty, let's say you love anime and you are like, I think it's really cool and really cute, but
she's talking about anime lashes.
Anime lashes, yeah. Well, if you love anime and you want to do anime
probably
lashes,
like,
yeah, exactly. You probably would fall into that category.
Yeah. I didn't know about anime lashes till one of my younger girls was like, have you seen the TikTok trend? And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then I felt like such an old lady.
Well, I learned
like
from
I'm getting older.
Yeah, one of my clients, and I was like, ooh, that's not going to work out because you don't have enough eyelashes for that. But that said, as far as, you know, really starting off with a trend, it might not really give you the opportunity to gain more clients. Like, I'm not going to have a lawyer come in and want anime eyelashes. Can you imagine her like talking to the judge with anime eyelashes?
That's like that. We posted it on our story. The thing from Perez Hilton.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay, if you didn't see it on our story, it
the whole like Congress with the two girls.
Can we reenact? Yeah. So it was like,
okay,
I'll be the blonde one, I guess. So you're talking about some point in government.
So we're going to talk about government and blah, blah, blah. And what I want to do is regulate.
You're confused or you can't like get it right. Like you can't see straight because your eyelashes, your fake eyelashes are so big and they're.
No, baby girl. She did not go there. No, baby girl. So even Congress.
Take those lashes off because apparently it's blinding you to the world. Also,
I'm blinded.
If we take a snippet of that video, I barely could see eyelashes. I
didn't even see eyelashes on the lady. I didn't even know what she was talking about.
Extensions. I was like, they look so good because I can't tell.
Right. It wasn't like obvious.
It wasn't like
no. That was just so unnecessary. So unnecessary.
The place you're at, like
that's not cool.
It's a low blow,
right? So yeah, she didn't have anime eyelashes. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, no.
But having that specialty, you probably want to expand yourself to natural clients too. You know, because I feel like sticking to that, what happens is, what's a trend? A trend comes and it goes.
Yeah.
It's not a good idea.
Yeah, I think as a new lash artist, get the technique and the skill of lashing down.
Yes.
And
for sure.
Client conversation, like have that down as your base and then take courses or research or play around and mess around with those types of lashes. Because I know there's lash artists, they are so good at, that is what they do, is like a full volume or wispy or like, and they're so good at it and they really, really have it down. But I can guarantee that they probably had been lashing for a while before they didn't just take a trend and go with it, you know?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So trends, just, be mindful. Be mindful because you want to grow and you want to be able to do anything.
Yeah.
Or
just get your base level. And then if you do want to focus on something and like that's what you're known for and good, like go for it. Because there are people out there where like that's what they're known for. They're known for their wispy set or their the set they named or and that's great, but you got to have that base down first. I think it's all about, like, we've realized that this recently with one of the other girls we train, and it's slow down, like you will get it, and we're happy you're hungry and excited, but slow it down. Really learn it, really get there, feel comfortable with it.
Yeah. You have
Practice.
to, you have to know the basics in order to,
And you'll get there.
taking
Like,
baby
I think
steps.
you, like a lot of people, even me, like it's like you learn something, you're like, I just want to be good at it already. I want to have it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you will,
Especially if you're
but
hungry.
it takes time.
No, it does take time. Any other advice for opening up a salon?
So we said insurance. We said,
Oh, also,
got it.
also, and this is learning from experience, is if you're interviewing somebody and you feel like they're not going to be a good fit and you need that room to be rented, sometimes it's better just to go with your gut and say, you know what, unfortunately, I'm not, you say it in a nice way, like, I'm not looking for someone at this moment, or I'm still interviewing people, because somebody's bad energy could change the whole dynamic of a salon. And that's, in saying that, it could be troublesome or a burden on the owner.
It's like more play the long game. You're like, if you have a bad feeling or something, like, you might have issues with them later. You might have or if you're weary, if they're kind of like, well, I'm just starting out and I don't have a lot of clients, or they could be so nice and you could be believing in them and stuff.
Yeah.
But are they going to be able to afford rent that whole time? Or are they going to have to be like a month in and break their contract, or, stuff like that? Oh, contracts.
There you go.
Get your contracts.
If, like what you're saying with somebody who may or may not be able to pay rent, what I've learned is, why don't you just do a 3-month contract and then sit down after 3 months, talk to this person and see where they're at. And then you could say, hey, these are some things I think that would help boost your income, boost your clientele, and see if they can. And that way you're not stuck with them for, a year or 2 years, and you're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah. But it's like dating employees, and HR probably is like, don't say it like that.
I know, right?
It's not dating.
It's not dating.
You're getting to know the person, and they're, like, especially, like, I think the difference is too, we're working with them in a set, like, you don't own the salon and then you're not there.
Yeah.
Like, you're with them, you see the and you are passionate about your place and what you want to provide for people and stuff. And so it might not be their fit. They might want a place where they don't see the owner ever and they just come in and out and pay their check. And so,
And there's certain, like, I did a trial with someone recently, and yes, her service is in the beauty industry, but it wasn't working for a glam spa, because we're known for eyelashes and facials, that her service, it just wasn't getting that attention. And so when I did that trial period, we talked, and I said, you know what? You would be so much better in a medical setting. You would be so much better working for, I don't know, a chiropractor, a doctor, blah, blah, blah. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because you went in it with the 3-month contract, and you already knew in the back of your mind, like, I don't know, but I'm willing to try.
Yeah, because you never know. Like, I'm a very say yes.
Yes.
I've always said yes to things, but
I taught her that. Just say yes.
Just say it. Just do it.
Do it. Yes.
But you never know what the outcome is. But as long as you go into it prepared and all of that.
Yeah.
I was going to bring up when we were talking about buying supplies and everything like that. Like, when I wanted to go on. I think I knew from the start I wanted to be on Rent.
Yeah.
Because I saw the career. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
I get good money and I get to make my own schedule. That was like the biggest perk for me in the industry. I mean, I always love fashion and beauty and everything, but still. What I did is I knew I was going to go on Rent eventually, but I was not on Rent yet. Mm-hmm. And I think it was like for 6-7 months or so, I was just buying my supplies and hoarding it away until I was like, okay, I think I'm ready for Rent. And I slowly built up my
That's such a good
supplies.
One. Yes. I totally forgot about that.
I know. I did too.
But yeah, that's, you know, what I told the girls, like, just accumulate, save your stuff. When I know, like, oh man, you are so close to going on Rent, start buying now. Start saving your little things.
Yeah.
And
like
then I would.
Black Friday.
Yeah.
Great. I bought so much supplies and everything. And then I didn't have to use it for a little bit until I like thought I was ready, or I kind of started using it. And it's also it was my time to like experiment with like other
brands.
Yeah. Cause I was like, oh, cool. Like and through that we actually made our brand because we couldn't find something that we needed in another, so it's like,
yes.
It all
Now
comes
we love
together.
lashing with our lashes and our glue.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think with Shaniqua glue, I have never worked with a glue. And I don't mean that because it's our glue.
Yeah.
But it really does help clients who do have like oily lashes or the
retention.
The retention is amazing. It's just
really
amazing. But yeah.
So that's a good way to do it too.
Research.
If that's your goal, to be on Rent, or even if it's not, like just slowly build it up, you know? Like I remember I bought towels, like spa towels or something, and I just put them in my cupboard, never really used them. And then I was like, okay, cool. Like slowly, I think, I bought my esthetician chair. That was like the first thing I ever bought, but I bought that because someone was moving out of the spa. So I bought their chair because I was like, oh, this is a good opportunity. I don't have to like figure out how to move a heavy chair. So I bought their chair and put it in the room.
Yeah.
That was like my first purchase. And I'm like, I'm serious about this. And then throughout that time, I just kept getting more lashes and putting them away, more iPads, more, and then all of a sudden I was like, okay, I can do this. And it wasn't this one whole.
Because it could be so overwhelming that you will almost like weigh yourself down when you haven't even started yet. And that's not a good feeling.
Yeah, it's very overwhelming and
so
scary.
Overwhelming. Yeah.
Scary. Do you have anything else?
I do have one more.
You do?
I do. I have one more.
Fountain of knowledge over there.
When I think it goes back to what I said about having, finding your tribe and keeping that good energy around, and it's okay to tell somebody like, I'm sorry, you're not a good fit. It could cost you as an owner, number one. Number two, it could, ruin future clientele for that person because, maybe, like I said, bad energy, they won't come back. And that's not a good thing because you're putting in money into, let's say, Yelp, Google, which is another thing.
As an owner, you're investing in,
so much money. And this is like,
a lot of the time,
be prepared for that too.
Like Shanique and I talk about it all the time, is like, you don't see the behind the scenes of what the owner is doing. They're running ads on Google. They're running ads on Yelp.
And they're not free.
No,
they are not free, you guys.
They're paying a monthly fee for the website.
Yes.
They're paying for your credit cards to be swiped and everything like that. They're paying rent on the whole building and the water, electricity, and and that's what they signed up for. I'm not saying like, but you don't see that on the other side. So you want to make sure it's you're, as the owner, you are investing in your client.
Yes.
You want it to work out too. You're not trying to make, like, you don't want them to fail. You don't want, so if you don't think it's going to be a good fit in the long run, like maybe it's not. And you just have to find someone else, like, and just feel, I mean, like, again, it's dating.
It is.
We dated a lot of people.
And
now we're in a couple long-term relationships.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And remember how many people had to leave because they were they were so mean to Dixie, of all people. And I'm like, okay, sorry, you're changing the energy, you're changing the dynamic, and it's not helping you as an artist, right? And it just really affects you as an artist as well, because you're more focused on someone else rather than yourself, when yourself is your own competition, not this person or that person.
No, because everybody wants lashes in some way or another, whether they want just a little bit volume, and there's plenty of people out there.
Yes. And
you're going to have clientele. Like, stay focused on you and your
your
goals.
own business. Don't look to the left, to the right.
Sorry, don't take it back.
Don't focus on Dixie. Yes, you could go to her and say, hey, how did you do this? And go in with an open mind and an open heart.
And if I'm not nice and I'm mean, and I'm like, I'm never telling you, don't let that get you down either.
No, absolutely not.
Talk to someone else. But there's just no room for that kind of job. Like, everybody, there's room for everybody.
There is.
Listen up,
Okay, so that's this
episode.
episode.
Yeah, I'm so excited for more to come, you guys.
Yes. Find us
on anywhere.
Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Not Just Lashes podcast, Instagram at Not Just Lashes.
Not Just Lashes.
Instagram.
Because it's not.
I'm going to sponsor this episode. Shinixie Lash. Sponsor this episode.
Yes.
So check us out.
Check us out and book your classes and buy some eyelashes.
Yes.
It's gonna be a while.
Bye.